Hello again, my name's Daniel. Welcome back to my channel, Guilty Feet. I've got no rhythm. And today I'm going to do another round of Mismatch, where I take down sets of books from my collection, one set that matches and one set that doesn't match. And today we're doing the Penguin Classics edition. Penguin Classics, you may think that the whole beauty of the Penguin Classic is that they all match. I've watched many people talk proudly about their set of matching Penguin Classics across a whole range of genre and periods, and I'm here to tell you that it doesn't always work out that way. So let's start with Match. I have here a set of 5 novels that I haven't so far seen spoken about on BookTube. Amongst all the classics videos that I've watched and all the talk of classics, and my sense is that these are very much sort of fallen out of favour, and for a number of reasons, and some may be good, but certainly I read these close on 20-30 years ago. Let me see if I've got a date in any of them. Yeah, so I've got one here, the third one in the series I bought in 1995. That's 25 years ago. But I had an excellent experience with these, and this I'm talking about the James Fenimore Cooper's Leatherstocking novels. This is the first one, the Deerslayer. I think, I could be wrong, I think I was assigned this in university. I did an American literature course. This is the first chronologically in the series, the Deerslayer, although it may have been the last one published. So I read them in the order in which they take place, which is not the order they were published in, a la Narnia. So we start with the Deerslayer, and this is written in 1840-ish, I think, and published in 1841, but talks about a period of history about 100 years earlier. So we're looking pre-state in the US, and these are our eastern United States, sort of in the state of New York, upstate, in a very turbulent time in American history, pre-independence. So you've got British, you've got French, and you have Native Americans all mixed up together. We follow, our lead character is a chap called Natty Bumppo, who is known by various names throughout the series. He's called the Deerslayer. He's sometimes known as Hawkeye. He's known by the French as Le Long Carabine, the long rifle, for his excellence with that weapon. He is also called at times Leatherstocking, and the entire collection of 5 books is generally collectively known as the Leatherstocking Tales. Bumppo is an Anglo-American who was brought up by Native Americans, so he has a foot in both worlds. He is accompanied often throughout by his close companion Chingachgook, whose son Uncas is rightly described as the last of the Mohicans. I think that's probably, this was the second book that was published. It's the second chronologically in the series, and probably the most famous of the 5 stories. Last Mohicans, also the slimmest of the volumes, so really accessible, very enjoyable, and you know, I didn't at the time when I was reading these, I wasn't thinking of things like white savior and the problems involved with that kind of characterization, and so I understand why they may have slightly fallen out of favor. But as I say, Hawkeye has a foot in both worlds. And yeah, I guess there's a bit of that, but if you do ever choose to read them, they are tremendously exciting, beautifully written. So we have people who live on the land at a time of great change. As I say, America is changing in the 1750s through to to 1804, 1805. I think the last one is set, even though it's written sort of 50 years after that. I think it's a time of enormous change, transition period in America, and probably not visited that much. I don't know if there's much classic American lit that people that I've seen people talk about, and also when we talk about Victorian literature, this is quite early, even pre-Victorian ones. So Victoria is pre-18. When was she crowned? 1840ish, I guess, something like that. So this is pre-Victorian, so the early part of the 19th century, and really, really worthwhile. Now, one of the things I want to say about these editions is, for some reason, when Penguin Classics started putting out these editions, and these are the ones that I have the most of, because this is when I was collecting. I know there's a more modern version of this, there's older versions, but this is my preferred version. This is supposed to be a red band. You can see that's completely faded up there. There's the Deerslayer as well. Now, for some reason, this is the only, as far as I know, this is the only time the Penguin Classic was doing two different sizes. So, for example, we have these. This is The Last of the Mohicans, and just as a comparison, I picked up my copy of Northanger Abbey, and you can see them next to it, right? They were literally putting out Penguin Classics in two different sizes, and sometimes you had an author. For example, I've got Dickens, where some of them were this size and some of them this size. I don't understand why, but that's just the way it is now. This is also, you can see these ones have the sort of cream band all around the outside. For some reason, some do, and some bleed. The picture bleeds off as well. I don't know what made that a choice. But so I've got, starting with the Deerslayer, then you've got The Last of the Mohicans, then you've got the Prairie, Pathfinder, which bleeds off at the bottom, even though it's band, that's very unusual, but you've got the cream band all around the side and the bleed at the bottom. And then the last in the series is The Pioneers, which I believe was the first one written. So that is if I can line them up properly, that is a matching set of large size Penguin Classics that I have. That matches perfectly. So very pleased with that. Now we go on to something slightly less pleasing. After many years of not having read him, I decided that I would start reading Trollope. And in my head, I decided that a good place to start would be the Barsetshire Chronicles. And because I like a series, I'm more likely to commit to reading more than one if I think there's a story that's going to continue. So even though there are characters that exist all the way through the Barsetshire Chronicles and actually go on, then there's 6 of these. I've read all those. I've now started on the Palliser novels, and some characters appear in that as well. But that's where I decided to start with the series. And the first one in the series is the Warden. The Warden is a fantastic gateway Trollope. I think it's also an ideal gateway into classics. People who are a bit nervous about the classics. It's a very slim, under 200 pages. It's light. It's beautifully written, very genteel, and a great introduction to this world and these characters. Highly recommend. Now, I've got this Penguin English Library edition, and when I looked to see, I assumed that sort of predated the Penguin Classic, and I looked in and I saw this one actually is from reprinted in the Penguin English Library in 1984. Now, I'm reasonably sure that I have Penguin Classics from before 1984. So were they printing the same volumes in Penguin English Library at the same time they were printing already the Penguin Classics, or did they have some books that were English Library and some? I don't know. Anyway, if some people know about the history of the Penguin Classics and of Penguin's different styles and different design work they did on these books, I'd be very keen to know how that works. Anyway, this was the first one I got. I loved that. I started ordering secondhand, because that's the beauty of reading classics, is you don't have to go and pay full price in any bookstore, let alone a bookstore that you don't enjoy purchasing from. You can find all of these online. You can find them on eBay. You can find them in a ton of secondhand bookstores that will deliver. I live in the Middle East, and I have these books shipped to me secondhand, very, very reasonably, from all around the world. So this was the first one I had, and the second one is the Barchester Towers. And for this, I got the TV tie-in edition. Okay, so still Penguin, because I'm kind of snobby about wanting to read Penguin editions. I like the introductions, I like the feel of them, I like the size of them. But I got the TV tie edition with the lovely Donald Pleasance there, and Nigel Hawthorne, both sadly missed. On the back we have, I believe that's Geraldine McEwen, and there Clive Swift. This is probably just before he married Hyacinth Bouquet. So that's 1 and 2. So not auspicious start to my Barsetshire Chronicles. And then when I got the third one, Dr. Thorne is the third in the series, I got this. Now, this is part of a special edition set that Penguin put out. I have no idea at all why they would do this. They put out an entire set of Trollope's works called the Penguin Trollope. So they put out every single thing that he published in this. I love the edition. I don't believe this was ever read before it got to me. And I love the look. And I can't imagine that anyone bought all 40-something, 47 novels, however many he wrote, bought the whole series. So I don't see the need for something like this. They put them out and numbered them in the order they were written. Now, this is number 3 of the Barsetshire Chronicles, and it's got a number 7 on the back because this was the 7th novel that Trollope put out. So, super annoying. And I've got 3 books in a series, all completely different versions, all by Penguin. The last 3 books in the series, fortunately, at least came in the traditional Penguin Classics. That's Framley Parsonage. This is book 4 in the Barsetshire Chronicles. Also, this was, I'm pretty sure, this is after I've read it, so I'm pretty sure no one else read it before me. You know, those are my, I may have put those ticks in the spine. That's a lovely edition, really nice feel in the hand. And then the last 2 in the series, big, chunky monsters. And for some reason, again, they've gone with, this has got the cream band, and they went full bleed for the small house at Allington, and then the same again for the last Chronicle of Barset. 2 big, chunky works. So that is my collection of Trollope's, not very matchy, pretty much unmatched, and that is my set of Mismatch for the day. Thank you.